Hello. So, in today's lesson, we'll look at a very interesting position and we'll further explore the power of Zugzwang. So, we know that Zugzwang is a very peculiar position in the game of chess where the side to move the game loses the game. So, let us see how this works in this position. So, and what makes this position so amazing and interesting is that white has only the knight versus the queen for the black. Still, using the power of Zugzwang, white is able to create a special position, a very unique position, where black simply runs out of useful moves to play. Okay, so now we'll see. White starts with the knight c4 and king comes to the only square which is possible, b5. Now it is very interesting to notice that the queen is able to go to two squares, but both of them are not safe. So let us say the queen goes to b7, and let us say I make a move, king queen goes to b7, and I can simply fork the king and the queen, and thereby winning the game. So let us say I simply capture and win the game after promoting the extra pawn. And similarly, the queen to c8 is also not a safe square because of the same fork. So what we have established after knight c4 that queen cannot go back along the diagonal because both of the squares are not safe because the knight is able to attack the king and the queen. So what is the other possibility for black to free his queen? That it will try to move the queen along these sixth rank. So let us see which are the squares where it can move. So this is under the influence of the knight. This is again under influence. So the squares which have to be covered are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let us remove all this. So we'll see how beautifully white knight and king will combine to do that. So white plays his king f4. Now black has two options. Either he plays c5 or f5. Both of them lead to the same thing. So when black plays f5, now what we have to remember that we don't have to capture the pawn, but the purpose of the king here is to control the squares, these three squares, to make them unavailable for the black queen, which will try to escape. So I play king g5 here. And now black plays the only move which is possible on the 4, c5. And of course, I don't make a regular capture into c5, but I make the move b5 to control the c6 and e6 squares. Now it is such a beautiful and amazing position. It is black to move. Black has the extra queen, but he is in a Zugzwang. Any move black does will lose the game. As we already saw, moving to these two squares, black will land in a knight fork. And if you see, none of these squares is available for the black queen. So these three squares are under control of the king. These two squares are under control of the pawn. And these two squares are under control of the knight. And the only move which black has is pawn. And now I make the very simple move f3. And black is in a Zugzwang and has no option other than resigning or playing a hopeless position after losing the queen, which anyway will be lost very quickly. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this position, and we saw the power of Zugzwang, how this unique method of creating unique positions in which opponent has to make a move which will lose the game, will allow us to win many, many games. And Zugzwang is a method of winning the game in many, many endings. It is a very important topic, and in endings, it will allow you to win many games. With this, we'll conclude this lesson. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next one.